Why don't BYU and Baylor play every year? Iowa State and Kansas State. Why can I not see Houston and UCF do the space game? The Big 12 is losing out a tenfold on scheduling, and I'm upset with it. This is a Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor crossover.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome into a Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor crossover. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. That's Cameron Stuart of Locked On Baylor. Thanks for making our shows your first listen every single day. Let's start with, this is the last of the offseason topics. And
good, because it's game week, man.
I think it's the most important. I am sad, following Iowa State and Kansas State, that we don't get to see that game every year anymore because Brett Yormark doesn't want to. We don't get to see Baylor and BYU, which I think could be a budding religious rivalry. We don't get to see West Virginia and Cincinnati year in and year out. That's like the one game that their fans can drive to. And the Big 12 said, we are losing big time on scheduling. I think everybody should be passionate about this topic. Then we'll talk football. Matt Wells. I remember the day you and I sat in a radio studio at ESPN Central Texas, and we're told Matt Wells would be the offensive coordinator at Baylor, and we said, well, that's it. Dave Aranda's fired.
Pack it in, yeah. Nay.
Kansas State saved Baylor the pain, and now they are in the middle of the Matt Wells experience. Not great. Also
derogatory.
I think the metrics would agree that the Baylor Bears are not just going to beat Auburn, but I don't foresee a path that Auburn has to clearly win this game. Those are the three things we're going to touch on today. If you hit subscribe, we could keep our jobs. You and I worked for Sports Illustrated once upon a time. Do you recall?
Oof. I was a much younger man, barely recall.
And we didn't make a lot of money.
Took us some places, though.
We didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of our own money to get there,
But we did get to go to a couple of venues across the country and see specifically the Baylor Bears play. One of my favorite venue in college football was Lavell Edwards. I've seen some major games there. It was a top 25 matchup. So let's do this. I always get accused of being the BYU guy. Oh, he loves to talk them up. I mean, I like jet skiing and going to good football games. When you think about that atmosphere and what you've seen in college football, where does that rank?
Oh, man. It's right near the top.
Top 15
seriously. Matchup. Yeah. So you got to take that into account. Like, we hit the perfect part of it. It was
double overtime,
early season. It was great game, night game, top 15 matchup, top 20, whatever it was. Baylor coming off a Big 12 championship the year before. Like, yeah, it did have all that went into it of being, an awesome atmosphere. But we walked in there. We were 3 hours early, almost 2.5 hours early. Probably we wanted to get in, and the student section was full as soon as they opened the gates. Like, it was incredible. For me, it's got to be top 3. And we've talked about this before. Been to OU, did that. Been to UT, done that. Been to A&M, done that. None of those 3 are Lavell Edwards in a night game. Like, that was incredible. It might be the best one. I obviously get partial to like some of the great Baylor crowds that I was a part of, but a non-Baylor game, which they don't have the great crowds every single week. BYU, that game was probably number 1 outside of a Baylor crowd for me.
So what I'm getting at here, perfect opportunity for 2 fan bases that could get along really well. And when Baylor and BYU did play for those 3 out of 4 years, it felt like we're building a rivalry. Now I'm hearing, not even hearing, it's the truth, Kansas State and Iowa State, who have played every year since 1917, aren't going to play every year anymore because the commissioner wants everybody to get along. All fan bases should experience all fan bases. There is a proposed scheduling model, and the SEC now, in going to 9 games, they are going to allow for they're going to allow for more built-in rivalries. And I've seen a lot of proposed scheduling models, and I don't agree with all of them, but it's at least a concept that I'm kind of tied to now, is that we should see. And if it's not Baylor, if it's BYU playing Iowa State, I don't care. If it's BYU playing Arizona because they're close, great. The fact that we don't get to see Oklahoma State and Iowa State every year, that we don't get to see 4 or 5 of these games, Baylor and Houston, Baylor and Texas Tech is on that list. Houston and TCU. Why don't we get these matchups locked in when, to me, rivalries only create more fandom in college football?
Yeah, to me, it's a complete miss from Brett Yormark. And what makes this more frustrating, Drake, is we do it in basketball. Each team has protected 2 games that you play, in basketball. That's crazy to me that we can't do that in football. And there's really no reason for it. I know putting together a schedule is tough, but you look at these other conferences around the country, like putting a schedule together is tough, but Michigan and Ohio State play the same week every year. Auburn plays Alabama the same week every year. They find a way to make this happen. And to look at the Baylor schedule this year and to not see Texas Tech on there, that sucks, man. Like that, let's call it what it is. That sucks. By the way, Tech doesn't play Baylor or TCU this year. That is awful. And Farmageddon, like, that was bad enough that was overseas. I kind of took the optimistic look of that, of being like, okay, this is a good showcase for the Big 12, but not having those on campus does stink. I just, that is the biggest one to me. That's the biggest mess, not having Kansas State, Iowa State every year. Like, there's absolutely no reason for it. It's so good for not just the rivalry, but for both schools, both sets of fans. And Brett Yormark knows what he's doing. Like, he knows what makes his product good. He literally sells it to TV every year, right? TV networks. He's always expanding that. One is a better way to showcase your league, your fans, the people that you as the advertiser on TV are advertising to, than getting something like a Farmageddon or, a Baylor Tech, a Tech TCU, a BYU Utah, obviously. Like, throw that out there. That's what makes college football great. And if you're going to do this new conference and all these new time zones and, hey, we're still here at the party, then we've got to flaunt our stuff here, okay? And our stuff that we're flaunting, our cleavage, if you will, are these great rivalries. And we got to see more of them.
We got to see more cleavage.
Well, you said that.
That's what I'm taking away.
12 rivalries, tasteful cleavage.
He's talking about the rocks. That is a geology term.
Obviously.
And that is exactly
anyone who's not thinking that, come on.
It's a BYU fans are also first thing they thought was the geology term. Like, yeah, man. Crevasse. Sedimentary. They're just all over the board. Matt Wells. Bad hire, man. Bad hire. This is Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel, on August 26th, is having official FanDuel Futures Day. And that's where you can go in and pick your Super Bowl winner, say the Dallas Cowboys. Or pick your MVP, say, I don't know, Micah Parsons, who may not even play this year for anyone. And on FanDuel Futures Day, there are specials for all of those. Even your long shot division winners, you can parlay those together. Those dark horses, all yours with FanDuel. Visit the FanDuel app today. Start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game and do it on Futures Day, August 26th. Today with FanDuel. So, Matt Wells is the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech. I remember the day you and I sat at ESPN Central Texas. We get a call from longtime Dallas reporter Matt Mosley, who says, Baylor has its offensive coordinator, and it was Matt Wells. And our reaction...
You gave up on the Mosley real quick, by the way.
I did, because it's going to take way too long. It's going to take 30 seconds of the point. Our reaction to that was, that's it. Dave Aranda's fired. He's going to bring in Matt Wells. He's going to be fired because they will not be good. We rejoiced. I didn't think Jake Spavital was necessarily the answer. He's turned out to be pretty darn good.
I did.
You did. Whole lot better than Matt Wells, who last season got to be the offensive coordinator at Kansas State. Mm-hmm. What did we learn from Kansas last season? Probably shouldn't have co-offensive coordinators. It doesn't work out that well. Coach Z with Jeff Grimes. What do we learn from Kansas State so far? Probably just don't hire Matt Wells in general. Probably just don't have him be your offensive coordinator. This year, the co has been taken off. He is the guy. And there are people who will push back. Like, one, Iowa State had the 90th best rush defense last year. Kansas State couldn't establish the rush. Even without their best running back, they still had depth. Two, Avery Johnson has looked handicapped, not in like an actual way, but in a way compared to his Heisman hopefuls. Like, hey, we're going to stop him at this and he won't be any better. And then play calling on 4th down, 1 for 4.
Yeah.
And just bet. Why is Avery Johnson in the shotgun on 4th down? Why, when he's under center, is he handing the ball to a guy 4 yards in the backfield? Now it's 4th and 5. You have Avery Johnson. You can just do the thing up the gut, and they won't.
Yeah, so that's what really my big takeaway was from the Matt Wells Saturday, which was just how he's using Avery Johnson. Oh, what a revolutionary take. The kid is critical of the OC because of how he uses the quarterback, right? But I'm looking at this season. I'm trying to give Matt Wells the benefit of the doubt because I know a lot of Kansas State fans are real excited. And I'm like, okay, this is a unique quarterback that Matt Wells didn't really have necessarily at Tech. He was the man that made Alan Bowman. So that's what he's hanging his hat on now. But yeah, like actually right into your points there. Like you faced the 15th best rushing defense in this conference last year. They gave up 190 yards a game, and you barely cracked 100 against them. And this is supposed to be a little bit of Kansas State's bread and butter here. And that offensive line was not very good in run protection. Of course, you saw it in those 3rd and shorts, the 4th and shorts. And I'm thinking, like, there's going to be a time where it's going to be raining in the Big 12. Kansas State up in Kansas, good. Manhattan, it's going to be cold. There's going to be times where Kansas State, if they're going to be a Big 12 contender, are going to need to run the ball when teams know they're going to run the ball, and they couldn't do it on Saturday when the conditions were ideal for running the football. But yeah, I look back at that. It was in the first half. I think they were down early. I think that was before it was 7-7. And they had a 3rd and 1, and then they had a 4th and 1 because they handed it off both times. And
did they get the 4th down conversion?
They didn't get the 4th down. And it was handing it off both times. And then they do get Avery Johnson the ball in a 4th and short late in the game. And it's not an option play. It's not an RPO. It's straight up the gut running it like you would do with a running back. It was a quarterback sweep, actually. It was a little off tackle. It didn't work. And so I'm like, you have a Swiss Army knife here in Avery Johnson. And there are 2 ways to look at this, right? Like maybe, we've all been critical of Avery Johnson, the way he passes the ball, his accuracy or lack thereof. Maybe Matt Wells is just making him a pocket passer, and it's going to take some time. But all I could think of on Saturday was, would have been nice if they had an OC quarterback whisperer, quarterback guru, who had a lot of the same skill sets as Avery Johnson. Remember that? You remember Colin Klein? You remember watching him play? Kind of a lot like Avery Johnson. He wasn't a great thrower, big kid, always a gamer. Like he had such the same skill set as Avery Johnson that I'm like, that's a huge loss looking at what Matt Wells does now. And it was, there was so much tech in there, right? Just running into the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 4th and short, a bunch of deception for deception's sake, right? They had that one play in the first half where they actually went Wildcat and they moved Avery Johnson to the slot. And it was like a 30-yard run. And then the rest of the game, it's just fake jet sweeps, fake this way, fake that way. And it really didn't confuse Iowa State's defense all that much. So just a lot of the Matt Wells experience wrapped into that, man. And it might have cost them the game late on. I don't mind going for that 4th down, but just all told, being 1 for 4 on 4th down, you're just not going to win many games doing that.
I saw a tweet middle of the game, toward the end, really, that said, if there's one thing you got to admit, seen a lot of offensive creativity out of Kansas State today. And the entire comment section was, no one's admitting that. We don't have to admit that whatsoever because it's just not what game are you watching? This is.
It would feel creative. It would have felt creative for Alan Bowman, right? A guy who's super limited athletically and throwing the football, right? He needs good reads. He needs open guys. Avery Johnson, while not the most polished passer still, although he had a good game, he completed 70% of his passes, he is an electric athlete. And I'm just getting this feeling that Matt Wells is not going to exploit that at all.
Very good. I asked AI which I do. I said, tell me why Matt Wells is a bad offensive coordinator. And they gave me stats from his years since 2019 at Texas Tech. What I love is that 2019, 11th in the country in total offense. And that even Gemini, Google's AI service, says, note, this was with Cliff Kingsbury's players. It's just, it's spectacular when AI roasts the guy because he goes from 11th to 50th, 54th. He is fired after 8 games. They regressed to 63rd in scoring offense at Texas Tech. Total offensive rankings took him forever to get it going at Utah State. Had genuinely one good season at Utah State. Spent his time in the 90s in scoring offense over there. And then his Oklahoma offensive coordinator, 49th in scoring offense. Like, he just hasn't been good, even the numbers.
Doesn't seem good.
None of it is good for Matt Wells. And yet Kansas State still decided to dip into that. And you saw the ramifications of that, I believe, in week 1. Week 0. I am the guy who loves to blame an OC. Man, I hate an OC. There's something about
Lord knows, man.
After every time your team loses, I'm going to say, you know what? It's time. Aaron Roderick's not the answer for BYU. Jake Spavital has to go. Dave Aranda's the guy. Spavital has to go. And the first loss this year.
Sounds like Dave Aranda, yeah.
For anybody, that's what I'm going to, yeah. Aranda does love to. Aranda also loves to blame a good assistant.
So Matt Wells might be on the docket for Baylor someday because the dude likes getting new coordinators in there. But yeah, like I just think back to the 4th downs, right? Like this is game 1. It's a big game for game 1. Like normally you're not going into a week 1 against North Dakota and being like, boy, I got to have my 4th down plays ready. But this you did. And like, I know it's the head coach that's saying, hey, we're going for it here, but that's where you make your money. As an OC, that is where you make your money. 3rd down and definitely on 4th down. And that's where it seemed Kansas State was at its most archaic on Saturday.
Yeah. Talking quarterback whispers. I got a guy who coached Andy Dalton, Trevon Boykin, recruited Max Duggan, and Chandler Morris. Just saying. You know, always an option. Coming up, Baylor smoking that Auburn pack. Today's show is brought to you by Rugia, one of the brand new sponsors at Locked On. Guys, you probably have heard of Viagra and maybe even tried it. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, Rugia Ready is there for you. 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue, kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours. If traditional options haven't worked, over 150,000 men have made the switch. Completely online, it connects you with a board-certified doctor. Customer reviews on their site are spectacular. Rugiet.com/LockedOnCollege. Locked On College is your code to get 15% off. RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege. Use promo code LockedOnCollege for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved. Do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. That is Rugiet. You think Baylor fans, with or without Rugiet, will be aroused for 36 hours this weekend? 36 hours is a lot.
That is a lot. 15 minutes, also a lot. Just in general, that's kind of a lot.
You toss Rugiet under your tongue, 15 minutes later, you could very well be feeling it for 36 hours.
Sure. And that's what a Baylor victory would do to me on Friday.
Hour 28. Are you tired? Or you're like, man, this is just right. This is what I needed.
I think at that point you're like playing golf. You're like taking a walk. You're doing something else. Think about something else. Probably. Look, I've got to try it first. Maybe this is the weekend.
This is the weekend.
Like, why not? It's week 1 college football. Why not?
There is there's a great meme that says something along the lines of, this weekend I'm watching Baylor and Auburn. You should come over. Bring a use of protection or a firearm.
It's getting out of hand.
That's Baylor and Auburn this weekend, which I just don't see analytically, having broken this game down up and down, and Auburn fans want to tell you, well, our trenches are so much better. I don't think Baylor's got a bad offensive or defensive line. I think Baylor's secondary is going to be great. I think Baylor's wide receiving core is going to be great. I think Baylor's quarterback is going to be great, obviously. The running back room may have a question mark now without one of your best, and Michael Turner also going down.
Yep.
But, man, I don't think Jackson Arnold can pick apart a Baylor secondary that I think is at least 7th or 8th in the Big 12. I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah,
Baylor,
well, see, that's where that is a big one for me. Sorry,
it's Jackson Arnold.
I know, and that's where I'm at. But I do have a lot of questions with the secondary.
I don't.
Carl Williams not playing.
I'm not playing
Calvin
either.
Hunt going from, another corner that you brought in, having to move him to star, and now you're thin at corner. Now your free safety is someone who's playing their first game for Baylor, but it is Jackson Arnold.
I'm the most reluctant Baylor fan of all time. Have we not learned?
I know you are.
Have we not understood this?
You're
and I'm not even I enjoy when the Bears win. I put myself, and I'm going to do it to him, in the Matt is Bear category of just kind of either being, prone to cynicism, but you're so proud of Baylor. That's kind of where I sit. I don't even know if Matt would agree with that assessment, but it's what I foresee. He's reasonable. When Baylor was 3-9, and I was hosting the literal Baylor pregame show, I wanted the coach to be fired. I was bored. I hated
I get that.
6, 7, and 3-9. They brought him back, and last year they won 8 games. That's good. I'm on board with that. Nice. Keep him. I wasn't saying fire him last offseason.
Auburn fans are being like, you can win 8 games?
Yes.
Is that allowed?
Yes. I was on with Ward White of ESPN Central Texas today. And Ward said, well, what do you think about that Baylor game? I said, Ward, Auburn hasn't won 7 games since before Cam was born.
It's true.
It's been a long, like, I get it. The kick 6 was great. Congrats. That one win against Arkansas, where I think it was Bo Nix threw the ball backwards and Auburn still won the game because the refs didn't call it. That was great for you guys. But it just isn't. It's just a name. Baylor is playing, clip this, Baylor is playing NC State, but with Auburn. The word Auburn slapped on the uniforms. If Baylor was playing NC State, no one would care. But that's the caliber of football team they're taking on, a perennially 6-6 team out of the SEC that's just not that good. I don't see analytically a way that Auburn wins on Friday.
That's bold at the end there. Like, I can see a way where they win, but I do agree with you in, like, I just don't really know where this confidence is coming from. And it's funny because it sparked my interest when people on Twitter were saying that about Baylor fans. They're like, where is this coming from that they think they can beat mighty Auburn? And I'm thinking, like, shouldn't this be the other way around? Like, Auburn has not, they find ways to lose games. Hugh Freeze finds ways to lose games. And looking at the last couple of weeks of Auburn leading up to this game, Baylor's had 2 big injuries. Carl Williams out for this game, probably back right after. Dawson Pendergrass out for the season. That's big, bad news for Baylor.
Michael
Turner, who's now going to be one of your depth running backs, not playing in week 1. But you look at the Auburn news cycle. It's, hey, we got 3 different play callers. Oh, yeah, we asked our DC to take it easy on our quarterback. Is our quarterback going to be good? Probably good. And Keldrick Falk, like, this guy is a monster. He hasn't not quite shown the potential yet, but he is a monster. He's a top 10 projected draft pick for next year. Certainly that'll fall right into fruition. But it's like there are just as much, there's more like hopium for Auburn than there is for Baylor. And that I mean, like, there's just more that we know about this Baylor team. And it's not all national championship good, but we know about this Baylor team much more than we know about this Auburn team. Yes, you may.
Baylor's great at hope.
We do well at that, yeah.
Fan base loves to hope, man.
Yeah.
I remember when Baylor fans thought that the Bears would beat Texas in Waco during that 3-9 season.
I was there. I was thinking it.
The Texas State game, we're here. UT, we've had their number. We're going to revamp it right now. It was 49-7 or something.
We're wearing black.
Really, really intensely bad. That was an NFL caliber Texas team, by the way. They are good. And that just goes to show, if Auburn fans are having to reach in the hope bag more than Baylor Bears fans, something really bad has happened.
We've been there, man. Like, we get it.
And I don't hate Auburn. I think it would be, please don't take this the wrong way. There have been times the entire country has rooted for Auburn. Go back to the kick six.
Absolutely.
Auburn, I think, is tough for America to hate because they are seen as the little brother to Alabama, whether that's real or not. I mean, Alabama's got the most national championships in football. So I always I reason with them. No one hates Texas Tech nationally.
Yeah, because it's the same with Baylor or TCU or Tech when they're having a good season, right? Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, well, that's good,
Yeah. When Mississippi State wins 10 games, you're like, damn, hell yeah, Mississippi State, dog. Where'd that come from? That won't happen for a long time.
Did that happen? It might have at some point.
They may
Tech
have never
win 10. He must have won 10 that 1 year.
Had to, possibly. So I'm not mad at Auburn. I want to set the expectation straight here. The Tigers aren't going to win. And I need their fan base to understand that. And I love you, and I'm sorry. I love Zach Blackerby. But Hugh Freeze has a lot of golf to play, man.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of golf to play. And the faster that we let him go be with the grandkids. Just take the horse back behind the barn. Let him be with the grandkids. It's time.
And a loss to Baylor would absolutely accelerate that. Yeah, like I talked about that on my show yesterday. Like, again, whether that's right or wrong, because I'm kind of joking with it and buying into the narrative, like they need to beat Baylor by 3 touchdowns or he's done. But I think a lot of the Auburn people are going to think that, right? And it is interesting. I look at other people looking at this game. So not me at Locked On Baylor, not Zach at Locked On Auburn, not Drake, not ESPN. I'm not counting them. Okay. We know how they feel about the SEC. Everyone else outside of that is pretty torn, if not leaning Baylor. People did see Baylor last year. They saw the quarterback was good. He's coming back. And you know what they really saw last year and the year before that and the year before that? And that was Auburn losing football games. Auburn with Hugh Freeze the last 2 years losing football games. And so it is interesting to see how the rest of the college football public looks at this game. I think Baylor is going to win. I do. I don't think they'll win by 3 touchdowns. Sorry. But I think Baylor's going to win the game.
31-24. 31-21.
Okay. 31-23.
Okay.
Prevent defense at the end.
Yeah, Auburn's kicker is just bad at PATs.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's 3 touchdowns, 3 missed PATs, a field goal and a safety. 23.
Yeah.
That works out, right?
The field goal is the wildest part of that.
He does hit a field goal. He does hit a field goal. That's longer than any of the 3 missed PATs.
All right. That's Cameron Stewart at Real Cam Stewart on Twitter. This has been and always will be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Crossover with Baylor and Dose Grande.